I sold my car, and without me knowing, my brother-in-law bought it. Now he demands a refund. Am I in the wrong? I need some perspective here because this situation is so absurd I hardly know where to begin. So, I, 34M, had a car I'd been trying to sell for a few months. It was a good car, a sporty model that I'd enjoyed. But I was ready to upgrade and had plans to use the sale money for a new one. I put it up for sale online, and after a few negotiations with a buyer, I closed the deal. All set, sale done, money in the bank. I thought that was the end of the story, until my brother-in-law, the king of drama, decided to turn it into a nightmare. Unbeknownst to me, the buyer was actually my brother-in-law disguised as a friend of his. Yep, you read that right. He sent a friend to make the contact and negotiate with me so I wouldn't know he was behind it. He'd always shown some interest in my car, but I never thought it was serious. Besides, my wife and I prefer not to mix business with family, so he knew I would probably say no if I knew it was him. But here we are, with him orchestrating the whole thing behind my back. Shortly after the sale, my brother-in-law showed up at my house and started talking about the car. At first, I thought he was just making conversation, but then he started complaining about everything. According to him, the car wasn't worth what he paid, and that I had cheated him by selling it for an unfair price. He said it had minor issues and that I hadn't been transparent about its condition. I was stunned because, aside from having no clue he'd been the buyer, I'd always taken good care of the car and disclosed everything necessary during the sale. When I asked why he had gone through all this charade, he gave me a completely ridiculous response. I figured if I bought it directly from you, you'd try to take my money. Oh, of course, because I, the brother-in-law who has lent him money multiple times, would be trying to get rich off a car sale. He then said he expected me to be a good brother and reimburse part of the payment to balance things out. My wife, upon hearing this, was furious with him. She explained that I'd been very honest with all interested buyers and that he was the one who decided to lie and deceive, thinking he could get a family discount even after everything was finalized. He took offense, saying that I didn't value our family relationship and was just trying to take his money. What's even more infuriating is that he thinks this manipulation is acceptable behavior. Now he's getting the rest of the family involved in the mess. He called our mother-in-law and even some cousins, telling them I scammed him and that he's stuck with a car full of problems that wasn't worth what he paid. Naturally, he leaves out the fact that he concocted this whole scheme to hide the purchase. He's basically making it look like I'm some hustler who sold him a broken car and hid the details. I'm sure for most of them, the fact that he was dishonest during the purchase is irrelevant. Now, a few family members are saying that maybe it would be right for me to refund part of the money to keep the peace. I am outraged by the absurdity of all this. He came asking for his money back, and I made it clear that I wouldn't be refunding a single cent, especially since he had the chance to negotiate with total transparency. He chose to lie, set this up, and now he wants to use our family connection to manipulate the situation and make me feel guilty. My wife fully supports me, and we're both fed up with his manipulation. He won't stop making subtle digs and trying to guilt us by saying family should come first. Honestly, I don't see how I could be wrong in this situation, but he's causing so much drama with everyone, and it's affecting our relationship with some relatives who are buying into his lies. I'm at my wit's end and don't see any other option but to cut him off for good. Question: am I exaggerating or is he really clueless? Thank you for watching. And you, what would you do in this situation? See you in the next story.